The expectation going into Monday's game is it's going to be a physical explosion. The key for Notre Dame star TJ Jones, though, lies along emotional lines. Jimbo Fisher kicked him out of practice for not doing the 2-minute drill well. Forget the Heisman moment. He had the final BCS moment. He says a win will reestablish the Sooners as a top 5 program and leave Alabama with a truth that sounds more suited for Shakespeare than the SEC. I get a feeling from talking to the guys that the Beard Gang will be a distant memory. They'll live on in memory, but not in reality after this. Bruce Pearl joked that Auburn AD Jay Jacobs came after him so hard he didn't know whether to work for him or hire him to be a recruiter on his staff. This time, Jacobs has a search committee made of former Auburn players, Matt Crawford, Pat Sullivan, and Bo Jackson. You're talking about 2 guys that started a combined 9 games at quarterback in 2012. And I don't think there's anybody who's made more individual sacrifice than those 2. Alabama was thinking the same thing until A.J. McCarron came of age before their eyes against LSU in last year's BCS national title game.
Stu McCann joins me now. And Stu, I think one of the reasons that Johnson is so comfortable is because of the guidance he gets from Kodi Burns.
Yeah, it's a familiar name. And now his new role, he can kind of act as the buffer between the players and the tough, gruff old man. Hollywood is known for its stars. Kodi Burns isn't interested in being one again.
They know what went on in 2010. They know what I did, and I really don't have to tell them anything.
Burns was Auburn's SI cover boy 4 years ago. The touchdown against Oregon was his moment, which was printed and distributed to make it the moment.
That picture, it was everything. It was everything. You know, him going in the end zone, it was awesome, man.
That's one of the higher moments that, you know, anyone can really say. That's the biggest stage in college football, is to score a national championship. To score a touchdown in the national championship is a big stage, and I was glad that I'm able to be a part of that, being able to be a part of the Auburn family, and help my team win a game.
Burns prefers to spend this title game out of the camera's eye, hoping another Tiger can experience what he got to in 2010. That's not to say he doesn't have an important role.
You know, he's been through it, and you know, at the time I wasn't a starter, and he was a starter at the time, so he's able to, you know, reiterate those times when he was here.
He helps us out a lot in practice. He'll pull some of the receivers aside, some of the H-backs aside, and kind of work on small things and make sure we fully understand it. So, yeah, it helps a lot.
This is their own identity. This is their own team. They don't want to, you know, worry about what I did back in 2010. They want to make their own legacy, and I think that's what they're doing.
Now, Kodi says he has a couple of the SI covers. One of his best friends on the team, Nosa Igwe, says you take that number 2, you triple it.
Yeah, with friends like that, who needs enemies, right?
I get it.
Thanks a lot, Stu.
Fierce battle to fill Alabama's quarterback slot.
I don't think we're going to be able to have a starting quarterback by April, like James was talking about. So I don't think that's just going to happen. When A.J. McCarron was asked about Jacob Coker at last week's pro day, he didn't have an answer. Coker was his backup in high school. That was 4.5 years ago. Plus, Coker, the FSC transfer that looks to be Alabama's new starter, is working in Florida until this summer. The SEC divvied up a record $309.6 million between the 14 member institutions, 20.9 per school. The league's revenue is nearly doubled the last 5 years. The issue of autonomy is the other news of the final day of the SEC meetings. The NCAA will vote this summer on whether schools within the Power 5 conferences should have the right to govern themselves within the structure of the NCAA. SEC Commissioner Mike Slive says if the vote fails, the Power Conferences will consider breaking away from Division I. Players like number 41, Matthew Edaway, will look to make up for that size off the bench. But it didn't seem like Auburn would need much more than KT Harrell against number 21 Missouri in transition. Harrell gets and buries a 3. Auburn's up 46-42 in the second half. Jordan Clarkson provides the offense for Mizzou. He gets in the lane, hits, and gets a free throw too. But Harrell answers for Auburn his own three-point play. KT had a career-high 27 points. And here's the situation late. Auburn trails by 2. Chris Denson misses a free throw with 5 seconds left, but Missouri steps out of bounds. Auburn gets the ball back with 3 seconds left. And here is that play. The inbounds pass will be knocked away. You look at Missouri's Jabari Brown, who will just go pick up the ball and then kind of throw it. He traveled. He might have stepped out of bounds. There was time on the clock, but the referees say that's it, no more, no call, and no win for Auburn, who falls to Missouri 70-68. Perry's wardrobe was almost as big a story as his golf game. The colorful pink and gray pants were in memory of his sister and his mother, who passed away of cancer in the last year. Perry said, quote, It's for the gals. I've lost a lot of ladies, and I like pink. Now, he's in Birmingham for the Sanford Invitational, running in the 400 meters against two members from the Team Bahama that won the gold in 2012. Mitchell is one lane in from the bottom, in the lead, but you see the runner next to him stumble. Mitchell said afterward that messed up his momentum. He's in the lighter blue, overtaken by Ramon Miller, one of those gold medalists from the Bahamas down the stretch. Mitchell settles for second again, but said he feels 100% for the first time since the injury. Reds and Giants, can we get a no-hitter? Baseball hasn't had one since Homer Bailey went no-hit against Pittsburgh last September, and leave it to Bailey to do it again against San Francisco. He no-hits and just allows one walk in the Reds' 3-zip win. You might wonder why I'm telling you about it. It's because the guy who's usually sitting right here is living it live. Mike Rada in Cincinnati. He's Ohio at heart, bleeds Big Red Machine, and celebrates with his Cincinnati Red fans at the game tonight.
Well, that's where he is. We thought he was hanging out at the hangout.
No, Cincinnati.
All right, thanks.